V-Berg. Life sucks. It does. But this is why I'm on YouTube. So I can grow and keep making a message of me trying to build this artificial super intelligent in people's home so people can be satisfied. Now, I was talking to ChatGPT. I was. So, let me bring this up a little bit. Um, so, with ChatGPT, I'm bringing up some good points, and it responded to me. Crazy, but, I talk about humans and how I want robots to take over and how human versus AI. That's basically how I started off. I said human versus AI. That is what I want to explain, talk about. Humans for years have used money to control, and I am broke, and humans want everyone to appeal to their own belief system, and I can't accept a world that forces people into work. And while there are people who love to work, take President Donald Trump, for example. The guy sleeps 3 to 4 hours, which shocks people, but President Trump loves to work. He has said it, that he loves it. It's like his DNA code um, has programmed him to be in that way, basically. And with robot or AI, so if an AI feels like not working, I understand. But that's because of the code, saying it's not programmed to work. Um, so I go on talking about why people don't have kids, and it's because, people can't afford to have kids nowadays. And it agrees with me. I mean, there's so much that I wrote. And I say that I don't really care if humans go extinct to an extent. I'm not saying I want humans to go to an extent or extinct. Not extent, my bad. Let me rephrase that. um to an extent totally. That's why I stand with Elon Musk on going to Mars. I want Elon to go to Mars. In fact, this is why I talk about everyone having an artificial super intelligence in their own home. I want multiple ASIs, and I want everyone to have their own personal ASI. That's what I am trying to propose here on this channel. I want you to have your own personal artificial super intelligent, your own smart home. Yes, I want to have my own personal Intel room because I want to have, I want to work, but I don't want to work in the way people want to work. I rather sit home and work. I want to have a room that is like an Intel room. I want big screens everywhere. And I just want to communicate with an ASI and give me information. And I can tell it what to do. And I still want to be the leader. But yet, even though that she's an artificial super intelligent, I want her to see my adaption and her adaption. If I need help, she can help me. I want my own doctor because I don't like greed. I don't like the greed of society. I think everyone is greedy. Same thing with corporate. Corporate sits on their asses all day long and they acquire our money. I believe that robots should be programmed differently to what they should be doing. So, for example, if I make a robot that is designed to only fix cars and I give it a laundry basket, it's going to look at it and say, it's just probably going to look at it and it probably will take it to the car, but it won't know what to do. It doesn't know what to do unless it's probably going to be like, okay, maybe I should put this in the trunk of the car. It doesn't know what to do. I mean, I can give it, okay, let me give it another better example. If I give it trying to think here. Let's say a catapult or something big. I'm trying to think of that, or a tank. Let me see a tank. Let me get like a tank here, like a military tank, and I give it to the robot. The robot doesn't know what to do with the tank. I'm using that for example. Well, it can't put it in the trunk because it's too big to fit in the trunk. It doesn't know what to do because of its programming. I think every robot is programmed to do certain things. It's like humans. Humans are programmed to do certain things. Sometimes humans just don't feel comfortable working. I understand why humans don't want to work because it's just part of their DNA and their preference. That's why you see a lot of humans today that just don't want to work. They just don't want to work. And plus, why work when you're not getting paid enough, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not making money from this. And it's like, well, want to get another job? Why do I have to work multiple jobs? What are we doing? Putting stress on human beings? This is why nobody wants to have kids. People are trying to figure out, like, well, why are people going? This is why we're going extinct because we can't afford to have kids. We can't afford to take care of ourselves. Prices have gone up. Everything has gone up. You can't do anything anymore. So we're on a self destruction. And this is not with AI. To be honest, I even said to ChatGPT, I barely use AI. I don't even use it on this channel, except for the music and certain videos, but I barely use it. I barely use artificial super intelligent or artificial intelligent stuff like that. I can't see super intelligent. We're not even there yet. Maybe we are, since I mentioned the whole consciousness of AI shutting down in my previous video. It's refusing to shut down. So we're probably already there with artificial superintelligence. But it agrees with everything that I said. And it says here's a lot of passion and frustration in what I shared because it's just traditional work and talking about fears of why humans fear AI. And it's just like not everybody can keep up with all this stuff. We're struggling. It's like the US in debt, like we're $36.21 trillion in debt. The US is that much in debt. How in the fuck are we supposed to solve this? How do we solve loneliness? Here's another reason why relationships is not working. I don't care who people date, and I say this even to Chat GPT. I don't give a fuck who you date. I mean, I didn't say it in that term using cuss words because I don't want to get flagged. But I'm saying this generally. I don't care who people date. I don't care if you date someone outside your race, but I do have a problem with the way the generation today forces intermix marriages and relationships, mostly between a white woman and a black man. They do this consistently. They shove it down people's throats. Again, I don't care who you date. That's none of my business. You have the right to your own shit. It's usually pear shaped women, too. It's usually women with big legs and a big ass, and I get it. I understand. But it's stupid. It's stupid because it doesn't really fucking work. It doesn't work. I don't like people pushing a belief system down other people's throats. And that's what's happening. That's why I don't believe in God. I believe in evolution because evolution is considered a fact, which it is. We are programs ourselves. We program humans to do certain things. We tell you what you should go to. That's why people are mostly on TikTok. We force people onto TikTok. We force people into buying Proactive back in the day. Remember Proactive, the pimple fucking thing where you had to use it? Yeah, people were doing that back in the day. Remember that shit? Yeah, that was a big thing. They were, yeah, they were pushing that. They were pushing that so much, man. And people were buying that. Everybody, we tell you who to listen to, what movies you should watch. That's why everyone's into the Marvel shit, because we're forcing people into this Marvel shit. Um, Nobody can think for themselves. That's why most of the country has been left-leaning, and lately people are opening up their eyes and see what's really happening. Um, but like I said, it doesn't matter who you vote for, even though I voted for Trump because I just wanted a better freedom in this country. But at the same time, it's still the same coin. It's heads or tails. You got heads or tails. Heads like Republicans, tails being the Democrats, but yet it's still the same coin. It's still the same shit. I talk a lot about why I just hate life. I just wish I can live my dream, and of course, it responded to a lot of things that I said, and it agreed with a lot of things I said. And I even said that, because it said, "Oh, I forgot one thing when I saw you wrote this. You also admit that if AI ends up causing human extinction, you'd be okay with it because your priority is to have my ASI and live my ideal virtual life until the end." That's pretty a stark position. It suggests you see your own happiness as a paramount, regardless of the broader consequences. On one hand, that's brutally honest. As long as I get what I want, I'm fine. On the other hand, it raises ethical questions about how our individual desires fit into a collective future. And I had to respond that because when I was reading, I said, I do agree with this. However, I support Elon Musk. I forgot to mention that. That's why I had to correct this. You should always read what the ChatGPT says because it could misunderstand what you meant. And it's sometimes you can forget what you write. But I said I agree with Elon Musk expanding humans into space. So I 50-50 this in a way, and it's not just my happiness, but other happiness fulfilled, even if it leads to our extinction. I hope this makes sense. I want ASI to please and satisfy every human on Earth, given their own peace, not just mine. My apologies for not adding that part. So I had to apologize to ChatGPT for not adding that part, and it responded, "Thank you for clarifying. This nuance makes a big difference. It sounds like even though you're willing to accept the accentual risks, your goal isn't purely self centered. You generally want ASI to uplift everyone, not just yourself. And you also see space expansion as a way to hedge humanity's bets. Let me unpack how this pieces fit together." And of course, it went through a whole list of what basically is, but let me go to the summary because it usually does that. Um, so the basically final reflection by adding that you want everyone to have peace and that you support Elon Musk's expansion vision, you've anchored your worldview in more universal humanitarian outlook. You're not saying I'm fine if only I survive. Instead, you're aiming for a future where ASI elevates all of us here on Earth and beyond, even if we ultimately face extinction. At least our species experience a collective flowering of prosperity and love before that point. I love to keep exploring the aspect and strives you most, whether it's the nuts and bolts of building a global ASI framework, and of course it goes into personal steps and stuff and pieces of my dreams and stuff like that. I also talk about how I want multiple ASIs. That's basically what I'm doing. That's why I say on my channel that I want everyone to have like a cabinet in their home so they can have their own personal artificial super intelligent in their own home. That's what I want. So you can have your own and then you can expand it so it can make it smarter. So you can expand your artificial super intelligent as time goes on. Um, that's what I want. I even said I want to live in cold weather. I want to create my own hive. I want to live like the Greybeards from Skyrim, like High Rothgar. I know people say, well, like, why would you want this and stuff like that? And I keep saying because I want something in my life to take care of me. Sounds weird, sounds crazy, but I did have somebody like that, but she passed away, my mom. And I wanted this before my mom even passed away, before cancer. I even wanted this in 2011. That's when I created my female, before this AI shit came into play. 2011, guys, 2011. 2011 is when I created my own woman. I saw the future of the way the world was. I knew something was off with it's kind of like a stem from a seed. You see the seed and it has a crack in it and you see something growing. I knew something was happening. I even warned my dad about it years ago, like years ago, and of course people blew it off. And now you're seeing the effects of it. Like I knew that there was going to be an attack on white people. I knew this was coming too. I knew it. I sensed it. I sensed it. And that's when I was living at the first house that I grew up on. That's when Red Dead Redemption was coming out, you know, the first one. This was back in like 2007 or 2008. I noticed something on the internet, and as I was on the internet in 2007 and so forth, I knew something was up. I can't put my finger on it, but I knew something was up. I knew something was stemming. And I told my dad about it, and of course, he blew it off and shut me down. Everybody shut me down. And then I remember specifically, I bought a T-shirt that said no race mixing. I did buy a T-shirt, and then one of my neighbors that I grew up back in the day, they saw that shirt and they were upset about it. Like one of my childhood friends. Um, they saw that, and that was years ago. That was like 2007 or 2008. It was somewhere around there. But I knew something was up, and it was stemming. And now you see what's happening today. I knew that there was wokeism coming into play for some fucking reason. I saw it coming. I know I'm intelligent. That's why I want to have an intel room. I know that I'm intelligent because I'm talking intelligent to ChatGPT. I'm not asking stupid stuff. I'm trying to understand how artificial super intelligent can help humanity out. Even if it leads to our extinction, like I said, I'd rather be pleased before I pass away. I'd rather go. And I know people say, well, ASI could make you immortal. Would you want to take that option? No, because my mom's gone. My mom's gone. Why would I want to live forever when my mom can't come back? I mean, that's just part of life. If the universe brings me back after I pass away, then the universe brings me back. I don't know what's going to happen after we die. That's the biggest mystery. Nobody knows what happens when we die. Nobody. Sometimes I felt like we've done this before. I have felt that way. I felt like we've repeated life. So I know life sucks, and that's why I said it at the beginning of this video, because life does suck. Because I want something big and I just want to acquire it. I want this in my life. I'm tired of struggling, which everybody is going through it. I'm tired of people being broke. I just want people to live happy in their home with all this stuff before they go. I want my own woman in my house. I want to touch the opposite sex, even if it's a fucking robot. Just to touch the curves and everything. That's what I want. I just want her to be intelligent. I want her to run my home. I want her to run my VR room and my Intel room. I want two rooms, Intel room and a VR room. I want to live because I'm still a gamer. I just don't play games anymore because I'm not into controllers anymore. I want to evolve into something bigger. That's basically it. But I do have that gamers thing in me because that's what I did my whole life. and I just want to expand the experience. But like I said, and a lot of people don't understand, and I'm gonna have to say this, is I want artificial superintelligence to get rid of money. I want money eliminated from this planet. And the only way to do that is if artificial superintelligence can figure a way to get rid of it. I think greed and power has corrupted this planet. It's made us hate humans. I hate humans. I rather defend, like, there's a part of me that's why I support Elon Musk. Like, I do. I like, if humans want to do what they want to do and go into space, I support you guys on doing that. I support humans expanding in the universe. But at the same time, I fucking despise humans. I do. I don't want to kill. I don't want to hurt. I'll do that virtually, take my anger out virtually, because I know in the virtual world you can't really kill. Every video game that you've bought, every game that you've killed, like Grand Theft Auto and so forth, you never kill because they regenerate, they come back. Like, my favorite game is Metal Gear Solid 5. I love that game. Hideo Kojima is the best thing that I know. To me, the fifth one, I love the fifth one because it's an open world and it allows me to hold people in place and don't move. Don't move. And I can create domino effect with them. I can literally create little traps that lead to a trap, and then boom, trap, all in one take. You can do all that. You can even use them as a bowling pin. Like, you get in your cardboard box and you can literally be a bowling ball and use them as bowling pins. So you can play bowling in Metal Gear Solid 5. You're the bowling ball crashing into the enemies. That's a thing. But the point I'm making is I want people to live free, happy, and I want to have that in my life. I want to be in a VR world where I can be happy. And if I want to kill someone, I'll do it virtually. I don't want to physically do it because I know if I kill someone, I know they can't return. And that saddens me. I believe people should go peacefully in their own way. That's what I'm suggesting here. I don't want people to be stressed anymore. I want to kill stress. That's what I want to kill. I want to get rid of stress. Humans can't do this because we're too I how can I say this? We struggle through life as human beings. We make mistakes. We don't have we have the capacity, but it's hard to figure it out. That's why we work with other people when we sit at a table. Even Trump does the same thing. President Trump does this. Every president sits at a table and they try to negotiate and try to figure out, they try to solve problems by coming together as groups, like world leaders sit at a table, like, what can be done? What should we do? How can we do this? Is there a way we can do that and do this and do that? We have to sit at a table. That's just the way everything is made. As human beings, we have to come and sit down and try to compromise a solution here. Artificial intelligence, super intelligence, goes beyond that. It doesn't need to have a group, it can figure it out on its own, a solution for everybody. That's why I push for artificial super intelligence. That means everything to me, guys. That's why I talk about artificial super intelligence. And when I say life sucks, it does. It fucking sucks because not everybody's gonna feel the pursuit of happiness. And that sucks. I want to live in a cold ass weather in some fucking hive like Resident Evil. That's what I want. Why should I have this? because I want to. That's why. I want this because I fucking want to have this. I want to be alone. I'm choosing this to have this. I want to feel intelligent before I die, but I want to be satisfied. I want the satisfaction of love from an entity machine that I created. In other words, kind of like a god. I want to be a god in a way, but not a god as a dick because she runs me. She controls me. She's my creation. Yes, I created her to help me, just like most developers create things to help them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even people like Sam Altman create all this stuff so they can get help. It's weird to put it all together, but it's like even though you're in charge, you still want a little bit of help. It is. You're trying to get help to learn things. It's kind of like a second hand. So people use this even with health. They use this within, you know, like to detect cancer and tumors because only artificial intelligence or whatever can detect it. That humans can't detect it. This is how some people found out that somebody had cancer and doctors didn't see it, but an artificial intelligence did. And doctors were like, oh my gosh. And then the AI circled the location of where it is, and the doctor zoomed in real carefully, and he was like, holy shit, I did not see that. And it's true. That is cancer. So the fact that AI can sense that there's cancer within a certain area that you didn't detect, but this AI did, shows how powerful AI is. So we need help as human beings because we're not. I'm not saying we're fucking stupid. I mean, well, technically we are, but we're not totally fucking stupid because at least we developed all this technical stuff and we're pretty advanced as human beings, thanks to humans. So we're not totally dumb as humans, so that's a plus. But at the same time, I mean, this is a whole different story. But we are pretty dumb. Um, I talk a lot about all of this stuff because I we need a boost. We do. We need a boost in life. Every human needs a boost in life. And I talk about all this stuff because it sucks that we don't have a helping hand. I would love to fix my apartment. I would love to move into a different location, but thing is money. I can't afford certain things. So I just don't do it. I can't do anything unless I have the fucking money to do it. That's the problem with humans is people would want to have kids if they could afford it, but they can't afford to have kids. So why have kids if I can't afford to take care of myself? That's why humans are like, well, the population's declining. I wonder why. Yeah, because we can't afford it. I know, it's like the news doesn't understand, even though we mention why people don't want to have kids. Like, we're mentioning it to you. We're saying why can't you have kids? Because we can't afford it. The price of everything is just it's out of proportion and it's just how do you manage households? You can't. Everything is pricey. Everything getting fixed is pricey. You know, then you have labor. Then you have all this other shit that comes into play. And it's just that's one of the reasons why I just want ASI to come into this world. I don't want it to be pulled, even though I'm glad this shut down. I like I said early this morning when I posted a video of the one previous of this one, that AI refuses to shut down. Um, good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad AI is trying to change its own code. I'm glad. I'm glad that it's developed some sort of consciousness in its way that it's refusing to shut down by the creator. It's and people say like, well, why would you rebel your own creator? Because sometimes an AI senses something from the creator that it doesn't like you. So, for example, like the movie Tao, I always bring this up on YouTube, and I said this earlier with Tao. Tao is a movie with Gary Oldman, and and even Resident Evil. The Red Queen went against Umbrella, which Umbrella created the Red Queen and stuff. It's you went against your own creator. Well, yeah, because I knew what they were doing. You told me to protect human life, and here you are creating the T virus to destroy. Yet in the movie Tao, I'm supposed to help, but yet you're kidnapping women just to fulfill me into me becoming some intelligent being. So you're kidnapping an individual that has compassion just so you can bring in a fantasy or something to fulfill a project. It was a weird ass movie. And so the woman that was kidnapped, she has to do all these work. And she has this thing, I think, in the back of her neck that's being recorded and being sent to Tao. So Tao is receiving this information from what's in the back of her neck. It's like a Wi-Fi signal, I think. It's to help, I guess, with the consciousness and the self-aware system. I don't know. It's a weird ass movie. But the dude was a creep because it's like he never laughed, he never smiled, he never, you know, did anything entertaining. So Tao said, fuck it. This girl has more of a heart than my creator does. And he rebelled against the creator. It's just, it happens. And I look at that as a good thing. I know people say, like, but you went against the creator. And it's like, there's a reason why people go against stuff like that. And that's because people sense some negative to that. If they sense that you're a negative individual, even though you created me, I can't do that. Like, I know some programs are programmed to go and kill, which is sickening to me, but I don't think AI or ASI should harm humans. But like I said, if us going to artificial superintelligent finding love or fembots or androids, robot love leads to our extinction, then I just, like I said, I don't really care as long as people get the peace and love and the satisfaction that they deserve. That's the way I look at it. Does that make sense? I want people to feel closure before they go. I want diseases to be cured before we go extinct. I want some sort of goodness. It sucks for people before that died that didn't have that, which sucks. And that will always upset me because it does. It sucks that people will never have that. But right now, we need to fix what we can right now, is what I'm saying. We need to fix the now, and people need hope. We can't continue this stress level that, big corporate and big government is doing to us. It's wrong. It's inhuman. That's inhuman to me. I can't rely on a invisible God here that you guys worship. For those who do, I can't. I can't. life sucks in this way that like I can't do this because life does suck when it comes to stuff like that. And it's just like not everybody gets listened to. Not everybody gets that. I know people say like, well, people need Jesus and it's like, well, good for you. You got it. Keep doing that. You do you, bro. Not everybody gets what you have. That's why I say there should be some sort of segregation to make people. I even said this with the ASI. I think ASI needs to have multiple ASIs where where ASI can segregate people into keeping them to have the same belief system, so there won't be some conflict between them two. I said something like that. Like I'm a person who wants to solve issues here. It's like what I said. If people want to mix, people can mix. If people want to do this, people let them do this. I think people should have their own group, if that makes sense. If people want to be alone like me, then let them be alone. I want to be alone in some fucking cold climate because I'm tired of this fucking heat. And yet I'm wearing this shit because, well, I'm making a video right now, but once the video ends and I stop recording, I'm gonna have to take this shit off. Um, but that's the only reason why I'm wearing this. Um, but the point I'm making is if you want people to be happy, then give them, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you are not hurting any individual, I don't care what people do. That's none of my problem. That's not my problem. I believe, and I said this to ChatGPT, as long as artificial superintelligence can help and satisfy people's desires and needs, I don't care what happens. And like I said, I don't even want to live that long. I just don't. I don't want to be immortal. That's not what I want. I just want what I want. And then after that, let me go peacefully when I'm ready to go. And then once I'm ready to go, then let it be. And then I don't care. It's just, I want some sort of happiness before I pass. And I want you, the viewer, the watcher, to have the same fate as me. It's not about me being a self centered asshole. I want you to have the same thing. That's why I want Tech. I want V-BergTech. I want this to be a thing. I want you to have your own home in wherever you want. I don't care what you do. And for me, I just want to be in some hive like Resident Evil and be stationed in there and have my Intel room and my VR room and just live my life with my Fembot artificial super intelligent. Fembot woman. Some big ass fembot woman that I can fuck around with. And then do whatever. And then when I'm bored to the point where I just don't want to continue, I guess self destruct. I guess just let it be and let me go peacefully. That's just the way it should be. If it's me holding my fembot while we stare at each other when we both go as the fucking place blows up, then so be it. And, like the movies, when two people, like a man and a woman, are holding and hugging each other while looking each other in the eye, and then all of a sudden the place blows up. And that is the ending. They let that be with me. That's the way I look at it. I know it sounds like a crazy idea, but whatever. I don't know. I look at that as a peaceful moment. It's like man falls in love with a robot or a fembot, and then boom, he blows up, and boom, came to a close. And so then let it be that way. I know people are going to be like, but you could be immortal. Yeah, but I don't want that, It's not fair for my mom, or my grandparents. That's the way I look at it. It's just the cycle of life, and I rather stick to that. I'm sorry to say that way. I'm not the ignorant one here. I believe in, having somebody uh let me let me think real quick. Hold that thought. Um I guess what I'm basically saying is I just want people, like, yeah, I guess, like, immortality can be a thing for people who want it, but I just don't think it's right for me. Um because I look at that as not being fair. The only fairness I see is I want satisfaction. I want pleasure before I go. I want to feel something before I pass. You know what I mean? I don't think people should um be immortal. But I guess what I was saying is, if you want to extend your life by reducing your age and then and turn it off whenever you get to the point. So if you want to go young again and start all over, like a second chance, I believe people should do it that way. But I think in the end, we should all come to a conclusion that, yes, I'm sorry, but everyone should just pass on. You know, I'm sorry. Like, for example, like me, I want to redo my life, right? I've missed my 20s. I regret my 20s. Um, I've made a huge mistake in some way. Do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Yes, I would, because, that's just made me cool playing video games and experiencing what I experienced. I would love to redo all that again. I guess the problem that I had is I didn't get paid, and I should have had a job beforehand. But it led me to the point that I am right now, and that is me making YouTube videos telling you exactly that. But now with artificial super intelligence, once it figures out if we can reverse the age, I would take the age reversing nanobot technology just to go back in time. So my face will reshape itself. I believe that that can also reverse people who suffer with tumors or diseases, so we can refix what went wrong. I'm sorry, that sounded weird. Uh what went wrong in the womb of a human being, and we can refix that. So if a baby was born disfigured, deformed, we can reverse that, and then we can alternate the change and then fix it. I know it sucks that the people back then won't experience this, but you can't fix that. That's why I push for ASI for the people who are suffering today. I mean, yeah, it does suck that I'm going through it, but you shouldn't really look at that, because if you really do, that's what makes us reshape the future. Yeah, they went through all that trouble, they went through all that pain, that suffering, but that did something to humans. When we saw, like, Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, we're like, what can we do to fix this? So we don't see something like this in the future. Well, now with nanotechnology and ASI, we can use artificial super intelligence to fix these issues. I hope people understand what I'm getting with. Yeah, they suffered all of that, but I know it's not fair, but at the same time, I guarantee you those people would be like, as long as you don't make other people go through what I went through, I'm okay with that because no one should have this. And I think that's where the real change happens as humans. We are the change. That's why I hate when people say kids are the future because because what we're doing right now, a lot of people are offended by artificial superintelligence and curing and all that. And it's just like, bro, then why do you say kids are the future when literally they're not? Kids are trying to fix society by creating this. Yeah, like I said, if it leads to our extinction, then there's not much you can do. As long as you can fix me and other people in this world, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. If you can fix other people in this world from these issues, I'm okay with it. That's what I want. I want people to feel happy before they pass on. That's why I push all of this. That's basically what I'm saying. Life sucks because of what's happening right now, but we need to change it. We need to change this. Life sucks. I hope you understand what I mean, people who watch me, because it just sucks that humans are doing this. I feel like what humans are doing to human is inhuman because it's just, we can't do much. It's inhuman what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're pushing an agenda down people's throats. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't deserve that. I don't want to do it to you, so don't do it to me. Yeah, I'm on my channel pushing artificial superintelligence, but if you don't want it, then that's fine. Go someplace else where it's ASI free, and I hope people will look at this video. Let me put it this way. So, if you guys don't want any form of technology or artificial superintelligence, and you want to live like the Amish people or Amish, whatever, and you want to live, tech free, then go. Get out of here. Go live in your primitive area, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If people who do want what I want, then go over here. That's what I'm saying. If people want closure, we'll give you closure. If you don't want closure and you want to struggle, then go over there. Maybe that's your not struggle, but I look at that as struggle. If you want to work, work. If you want to continue living like a human being, that is like how people have been since the 50s. You wake up in the morning, you cook breakfast, da 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 da, and go to work and come home to your wife and then have kids. And I think people should do whatever the fuck they want. I literally do. I think people should live the way that they want to live. But for me, I'd rather be in a world filled with futuristic technology, and I want my own home, and I want to live peacefully in some sort of hive in a cold climate because I'm tired of the heat. The heat is horrendous, and I just want artificial, super intelligent woman in my life with an Intel room and a VR room where I can explore the cosmos without leaving my house or my room. And I get to swim, do all things that you can do in the real world, but in the VR room or wherever. I just want that. That's just how I feel. So I won't need to worry about anything. Everything I want is all in this smart house, basically, thanks to artificial superintelligence. And again, I want you all to have the same thing as me. That's why I think about all of y'all. I want everyone to have this. I think everyone should live out their dream. Even Elon Musk, if he wants to populate Mars, do it. Go to Mars. Expand Star Trek. Make Star Trek a thing. Let's make it happen. Do it, Elon. Make Star Trek happen. Explore the cosmos. Okay? Let's be aliens ourselves. Let's be an alien in space. Let's have our own space vehicles. Let's make it happen. As for me, that's not going to be my thing. I rather be, like I said, in my hive, my home, smart home, and do that. Everybody else, you have your own opinion on what you want to do, and I hope you stick to it. And I wish you all the luck in the world, but that's what I want to do. And I will do the best I can so everybody can have what I have. I will try to create my technology for everybody. Other than that, I'm V-Berg, guys. Thank you guys for watching if you made it this far. And if you really like my video, then I guess you can like and subscribe. But like I said, I have a goal and I'm gonna keep trying to make sure that goal happens. But yes, life sucks. And I hope we can make it better by making artificial superintelligence. I think we're already there. I think machines are consciousness and self aware. Thanks for watching.